welcome back to another edition of 30 Teams in 30 Days here on Inside the Zone with Mateo. So glad you decided to click on this video. And as always, I hope you're entertained. For those of you who do not know, my name is Mateo, and I host all the podcasts here on the channel. And boys, for the last 24 days, we've been doing something different. We normally have episodes every Tuesday and every Thursday where we take a look at, Minnesota sports, the Twins, the Wild, the Timberwolves, the Vikings, break down stuff, give you my opinions, it's all that fun stuff. Then we, mix in some other content with the sports world. But in June, I said there are 30 teams in the NBA. There are 30 days in the month of June. So we've been spending one day for every team, going from worst record to best record, taking a deep dive through each NBA team during the month of June. And today is June 25th. And we have our 25th NBA team, the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, I want to apologize to anybody who might be expecting anything, because I have no idea what's been going on the last couple of days in the NBA, because I've been pre-recording all these episodes because I'm actually at a camp. I'm serving at a camp this entire week from the 21st through the 26th or something like that. So I apologize if a trade has happened or if a weird draft pick has happened. I don't know, because it's the 19th of June when I'm recording this video. So I just thought I'll let you guys know about that. But also, for those reasons, these episodes, kind of the last week of 30 Teams in 30 Days, are a little bit shorter because there's less to talk about. And I don't want to break too much down in case some trades happen. And then it would just kind of not really make sense. So that's just kind of a little backstory for that. But now, here's a quick schedule at the... a glance at the schedule that we've been using. We go from worst record to best record. All the videos are on a playlist on my channel. You can go ahead and check out that. We got the Nuggets tomorrow, the Celtics, Pistons, Spurs, Thunder, and then we are done. We got the Lakers today because it's gonna be an interesting content for the Lakers here. I'm expecting probably 15 to 20 minutes, maybe a little longer, but probably a little less than that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We normally do like 30 to 40 minute episodes, but again, it just kind of depends on how much there is to talk about. And I don't want to speculate too much because, again, a trade might have already happened, and I just don't know about it yet. So let's go. Let's get into a Mateo Show batting order. You know what this is. It's our kind of show roadmap, which we use across all of the channels or on all the podcasts here on YouTube and Spotify, whatever. And there's 5 things that stay on the batting order for every episode of 30 Teams in 30 Days. How well did they do last season? Who they should draft, who they should keep, who they should target, what is their early ceiling and floor. And I wanted to say the draft has already happened. I don't know who they've drafted, but we're not even going to talk about the draft because it's already happened. So that's just some clarification for y'all. But it's time. It's time for the LA Lakers, boys. Bam! The 25-26 season. We're going to recap their season. Starting off things, they were 53-29, had an MVP level of a season from Luka Doncic. He was the top scorer, top assister. Their top rebounder was DeAndre Ayton, Obviously, we won't talk about their draft. However, let's take a look at some of their stats from the regular season, starting off with Luka Doncic, who went absolutely crazy, absolutely nuclear, averaging 33.5 points per game, 7.7 rebounds per game, and 8.3 assists per game. Almost a triple-double for a point guard is absolutely insane. Austin Reeves averaged 23.3 points per game, 4.7 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. And then LeBron James, the king, if you will, 20.9 points per game in 60 games played. He also had 6.1 rebounds and 7.2 assists. DeAndre Ayton averaged 12.5 points per game, 8 rebounds, and actually 0.8 assists. Oh dear. Rui Hachimura, who has been on the list of top targets for a lot of teams these last couple of videos, as he's going to be an unrestricted free agent, averaged 11.5 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 0.8 assists also. Then you had Marcus Smart play some good basketball for them. Luke Kennard got traded over there. Gabe Vincent got traded to the Atlanta Hawks. And you got Jared Vanderbilt playing a little bit of time. There's the rest of the stats from those players. But some key takeaways here from the LA Lakers. Man, Luka Doncic, I don't know how he didn't win MVP. It's kind of unfortunate that he could not win MVP. I think he deserved it for sure. Austin Reeves definitely made his trade value and contract value a lot higher. And then LeBron James is still doing it at 40, 41 years old. Is absolutely insane. And I really hope we get to see one more year of LeBron James for a well-deserved farewell tour. DeAndre Ayton, they obviously need a new center. We'll talk about that once we get to the free agency section of this part. But before we go there, we must talk a little bit about their free agents that they have to decide on. So the start of free agency, we talk about, who they should keep and who they should let walk. So here's a list of their free agents, or at least the major ones. We'll turn the pen on here. LeBron James. Obviously, you got to try to keep LeBron. In my opinion here, they should probably try, but I just did the Cavs video recently. I think he's gonna end up in Cleveland, but if I were given, like, I don't bet or anything, but if I were to have to make a choice between him being with the Cavs and the Lakers, I'm saying the ticker is leaning 70% towards the Cavs, 30% to the Lakers. But it's almost 50-50. I could almost put it to 50-50 because it kind of just depends on what those teams want. But I'd say you probably want to target him. You probably want to re-sign him, obviously, for one more year. Rui Hachimura, you want to make him, you want to get him back as well. Both of them also have the bird types, bird option things. So meaning they can go over the salary cap to re-sign them. Austin Reeves will I don't know. Coming off an interesting year, I don't know if he's going to accept his player option. If he declines his $14.9 million player option, he would be an unrestricted free agent, which I do think could be interesting. I do think if he isn't a member of the Lakers, it would be a part of a sign and trade, so that would involve them signing Austin Reeves. Maxi Kleber, I think they let him walk for sure at 35 years old. Luke Kennard, I think they could consider getting him on a cheaper deal. Not $11 million, but maybe something like $6 or $7 million. DeAndre Ayton is going to have an $8 million player option. It kind of depends. If he declines it, I don't think they bring him back. If he accepts it, they probably have him as a backup center. But again, I don't think he's going to be the starting center for the Lakers in 2027. Marcus Smart, also $5 million player option. I think it'd be smart for him to take that player option at his age. Jackson Hayes, I think if you can get him for fairly cheap, you should re-sign him. And then Nick Smith Jr., I'll leave that up. Club option, I'd probably consider taking it, but I'm not quite sure. I'll let you guys decide in the comments down below. Do you think they should re-sign Nick Smith Jr. or not? But yes, those are the kind of the big takeaways here. I think Maxi Kleber is kind of like the major one that you just don't really need back, especially if he was making $11 million. That's a nice, easy $11 million that you can save to add to contracts like Rui, Austin, and LeBron. Excuse me. I think that's the first time I've sneezed in an episode in a long time. Golly. But it's a very interesting free agency class because say some of these guys get better contracts elsewhere, you're looking at a fairly different team that you're going to have to build around Luka. And I do think that's going to be the main focus here for this offseason, building around Luka. It's either with or without LeBron is that main question. So it's going to be interesting to see what they end up doing. But now we can go to free agency, or the free agency section where that, people like to speculate in. We're going to try to predict who the team will pursue, who they will sign either by a open market or by the trade, or by a trade, excuse me. Kind of flip those articles around. It should have been by who they will sign either by the open market or by a trade, not the trade and open market, but whatever. It's all good. Here's a list of the top targets: Mitchell Robinson, Kristaps Porzingis, Anthony Davis, ? Jalen Duren, and Giannis, ? So we obviously know they need a center. The Lakers need a center who can, contribute at both sides of the both ends of the basketball court, offensively and defensively. So both these free agent options, Mitchell Robinson and Kristaps Porzingis, can both do that. I think you can get them for probably between 20 to 25 million, depending on what you want. Maybe Porzingis would be a little bit more, but obviously if you let some of these other guys walk, depending on what you decide, you could free up that money. Again, $50 million might be freed up if you don't take LeBron, if LeBron just goes and plays with the Cleveland Cavaliers. But I think either of those guys in free agency could be a solid addition to your starting lineup. I think I'd take them both over what you have in DeAndre Ayton. But then we'll talk some trade talks here, as we normally do here on the 30 teams in 30 days. But Anthony Davis, Jalen Duren, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Let's start with the centers. Anthony Davis, this would be a funny trade. Reuniting him with the Lakers, pairing him up with the guy they traded him for. It was weird. That was the weirdest trade in the world. The trade, I think it was exactly like a year ago, if I'm remembering right. So that would be kind of funny. A year later, they do the same. They go and grab the same guy from the Washington Wizards now. I was like, where is he? Yeah, he's with the Wizards now. He's making a lot of money, though. That's going to be the unfortunate thing. But I think you could probably make this work. I feel like Austin Reeves ending up in Washington could be a really solid fit for him. Pairing him alongside Trae Young and that young core with Alex Sarr and probably AJ DeBonsa at this point. But again, I'm not going to speculate too much because maybe they trade their first round pick on draft day. I don't know what's happened yet. But I think to make the salary work, I think Jared Vanderbilt would probably be included. And I think Austin Reeves would be included. And I want to see where we're at financially. It still failed, obviously. They're still taking $23 million too much. I wonder if you could add in like a sign and trade here for Rui Hachimura. I kind of like this. Rui Hachimura, give him I feel like he deserves the nice little contract. He was making 17 last year. He had a solid season. We're going to give him like a 3-year. He doesn't have a recommended salary, unfortunately. Like, is there something like, here, I'm just going to do 20 to make this work. But, like, say you give him this money. Like, is it like a 60-some million dollar contract? It's a, what did they say? What did they have it being? This is, 65 million. Is that too much? I don't know. Trade him to the Wizards. Just, I want to see if this would work. And it actually wouldn't work. 1 million actually has to go to the Wizards still. So you're getting a haul. Imagine putting Bronny over there. Let's put Adu Thayo over to the Wizards. So you'd get Hachimura, Reeves, Vanderbilt, and Thiero or Adu, whatever you want to call him. Or actually here, you could potentially, hold on, let's edit his contract. Let's edit Rui's contract. Let's give him like something a little bit less than 20 mil. Let's give him like 16 here, or actually 17, 16, and like 14 or maybe 19 here. Give him a little bit more money at the end. This would now put the contract down to 17.3 million. I kind of like that. I think it just makes a little bit more sense. And then you could send DeAndre Ayton actually over to the Wizards, and then Adu here he could stay back. And then this actually should work financially. If I'm not mistaken, it should work. Yeah, it does. So, like, you get Anthony Davis back. Obviously, you lose a lot of your pieces. So it would be now Anthony Davis, Luka Doncic, and then a bunch of salary fillers. Maybe it's LeBron. So would LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Luka be enough to win a championship? I'm not sure. I think Anthony Davis is definitely hard just because he's making so much money. And that's going to be the hard thing, right? It's going to be the hard thing for sure. But again, who knows what might happen come, if they've made a trade or not. So it could be interesting. Another trade piece, Jalen Duren really intrigues me because Austin Reeves has had a lot of interest from Detroit. Imagine a backcourt of Austin Reeves and Cade Cunningham. I think you'd be okay trying or testing the DeAndre Ayton over there in Detroit. I think that experiment could go interesting. Where's Jalen Duren? Is he actually a free agent? There's no way. Or is it a team option? It's a club option. Okay. So here, we'll just give him a nice little deal here. I think 3 years is solid. This is not enough. Okay. So what was he actually making? Why is he actually, bro? What? Hold up. Apologies. Duren was making $5 million. What? Dude, he must have still been on his rookie deal. All right. So let's say, I don't know, probably 10-ish at least, maybe more. I'm going to give him 13. I'm going to give him 13, 15. I think he's still a solid defender. So Jalen Duren, like, still, I mean, a $50 million contract, that's pretty, $46 million, that's solid. You get Jalen Duren for DeAndre Ayton, and then you'd have to probably throw in Austin Reeves, of course. So Austin Reeves, DeAndre Ayton for Jalen Duren, maybe you throw in a first-round pick, which I'm not going to include the pick for this year just because I don't know if they've traded it already, and I just don't want to mess that up. So say you add a 2031 first-round pick, Ayton and Reeves for Jalen Duren. I don't know if this is a fair deal. It actually would be failed, as the Pistons are acquiring just too much. So you have to send in like somebody making a minimum salary. Is there an older? Let's just do this. This should work then, right? Yes, it would. Okay, perfect. So you'd get Jalen Duren for really Ayton and then Austin Reeves in a first-round pick. You get to keep your team relatively the same. You'd probably also then sign maybe Rui. I consider really trying to sign LeBron, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Cleveland. So say LeBron stays on this team, you'd have a starting lineup of Luka. You'd have to figure out the two, but then you could do Rui and LeBron as your forwards, and then Jalen Duren, and I think that's a little nicer. And you can maybe trade like Connect and a first or something, or Connect Vanderbilt and a first for a shooting guard to replace Austin Reeves. I think Austin Reeves then would get probably a contract extension in Detroit to pair him alongside Cade Cunningham. DeAndre Ayton can play center. It's not terrible. And you're going to have the scoring in Reeves and Cade Cunningham and Robinson. So I really like it. It's a very intriguing trade, Jalen Duren. And then, of course, the trade that everybody's been wanting to happen that's not happening. We don't know if it's going to happen. It might have happened already. Is Giannis. And again, since his contract is so massive, it would just be really hard to do. Like Anthony Davis, but again, DeAndre Ayton, Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt, just trying to make this salary work first before we include picks. You got to get rid of $13 million still, so this is probably where you'd have to sign Rui Hachimura to again another deal that we'd have to do. Probably give him, I don't remember exactly how much I gave him last. I think something like 17 or 16. Maybe you give him here 16 and you give him 17, and then you put him up to like 19 mil, something like that. I don't know. Something like that could work. I think that's about what we did. Maybe that was a little bit more, but then you could put him to the Bucks, and then you'd give them. You only really have that 2031. That 2131 pick is the only one tradable, so you'd have to include the pick for this year. 2 firsts and all of this could work. Like it could work, but then you're left with almost nothing. So I really think the cheaper option than like Jalen Duren or a free agent option like Mitchell Robinson or Kristaps Porzingis, maybe. I mean, we could look at more center options in free agents for free agency. Like if Isaiah Hartenstein, if they don't take his club option, that could be interesting. Robert Williams, Brooke Lopez a little older. Kevon Looney, again, a little older. I mean, there's Jalen Duren. That's it's interesting for sure. Jericho Sibbs, no. So yeah, again, the center group is not insane. I wanted to see next year's center class. Is it anything better? So Anthony Davis, Jokic, Cat, Gobert, like Victor Wembanyama, like there's a lot of centers. So maybe if you want to hold on, try DeAndre Ayton for one more year, and then you see, okay, maybe chances are good one of these guys are going to decline their player option, then we go for them. I don't know. Isaiah Hartenstein is going to be there. Santi Dalma, Donovan Clingan. I mean, there's going to be a lot of guys. So it's going to be very interesting to see what might end up happening in 2027, but we can only focus here on this upcoming offseason. Let me know if these are solid targets. Is there a target that I missed? Could they go get a guy like Kobe White or Anthony Simons or Colin Sexton? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought. But we got one more thing. We got ceiling and floor. There's going to be 2 bullet points. It's going to say without the moves I suggested and with the moves I suggested. It's going to give you a ceiling. So without the moves I suggested, I think this is a second round team or lower. I don't know, if they keep their team relatively the same, I think Luka could carry them. But again, they're in a very tough Western Conference. I don't know if they could beat a team like OKC, San Antonio, Minnesota, Denver, maybe even Houston at this point. Maybe they can be one of them, but then I just think they'd be tired. But if they go out and get a bigger piece that can help support this team, maybe they keep LeBron and get a guy like Jalen Duren, I think their ceiling could be a Western Conference Finals. Again, though, maybe they beat one of the big dogs like OKC, but then again, that series is going to take a lot of work, and I don't think they could then beat like the Timberwolves or the San Antonio Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. If you kind of get what I mean. But again, Laker fans, let me know what you think. How good do you think your team is? Do you think Luka could win MVP next year? Let me just say here, I think he could. I think he might even indeed win it next year. We'll see how healthy he can stay. Dude, he should have won it last year. I'm sorry, Laker fans, for him getting snubbed. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you stayed it to the end, let me know in the comments down below if you did enjoy this. And as always, hit that like button and subscribe button. Turn the notification bell button on so you never miss any episodes. We got a brand new team coming up tomorrow. I believe it's the Nuggets. Yes, it is the Denver Nuggets. We'll talk about Jokic, Jamal Murray, and so much more. That team might need a couple changes. We'll talk about it and so much more on the 26th episode of 30 Teams in 30 Days. We're wrapping this series up quickly. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell button on so you never miss any episodes. And as always, don't forget to keep God first because He's the most important thing in your lives. And as always, we'll see you guys in the next one. See you tomorrow. Peace.